truth.
No chaser.
TNC put together a project about addiction, and you were definitely in my mind when I thought of this. I'm passionate about it because it's affected our family for years. So I'm glad that you had the courage to sit down with me. It's a one-on-one, don't pay attention to the cameras and nobody in the room. It's just me and you having a conversation. Okay?
Okay.
First thing first, your full name, your age, and where you're currently living.
My name is Malissa Smith. I'm 60 years old, and I live in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. It's about 45 minutes from Pittsburgh.
And how many kids do you have besides me?
4. 3 girls and 1 boy.
Okay. So first thing first, I definitely want to ask, I have questions, but I want it to be more of an open dialogue. You can just feel free to say whatever you want. It's your story, it's your time. So in your mind, what led you into the world of addiction?
I would say what led me into addiction was I didn't do any drugs until I turned 18. And I more wanted to be like a social butterfly. I know if I drank, I would dance. If I smoked, I would talk more. And that's how I began starting. And then the more I used, I noticed I was covering up pain. That's how my addiction started.
So do you think you were using to also hide from the pain that you didn't deal with?
Yes, I think I was running from pain from when I was a childhood.
Okay. So you wanted to be a social butterfly, but also you were trying to escape from reality, per se?
Yeah, dealing with the pain. Forget the past. Try to forget the past. That's what I was dealing with.
So when do you think that you actually can label yourself or became an addict? When did it become too much for you?
I say picking up the first one, become an addict, but when I'm still struggling, to be honest with God and myself. I'm still struggling and become a full addict. Say probably when I hit 30, 35.
And as you became a mother, you already had April, and I was born. Did you ever think about the effects that it had on your kids?
No, an addict, I thought by me using, I thought I was only hurting myself. But when I was pregnant, I never did use drugs. I did have enough sense to stop doing that. But I never thought I was hurting anybody but myself. And I didn't realize until probably last 5-6 years that it really destroyed my children, hurt them.
So, I wrote the book, Mask Off, back in 2018, as you called the book.
The book.
And I know that it was hard, not only for myself to come clean or just, because I had the embarrassment, but just to be real, because I told you and I told Daddy and everybody about my book that it was more so, it's bigger than us. It's willing to help somebody. Yeah. And it's full circle because we're sitting down talking about it now. And again, I am proud of you. We know that it's still a struggle every day. But I want to ask, when you realize that it was an issue for your kids and it affected your kids, people always say, why didn't you stop? Why can't you stop? Is it just that easy?
No, it's not that easy. I still wouldn't be struggling today. Of course, I want to stop for my children and myself. And I still pray that I do become clean. It was just, I'm an addict. It's hard. All I can say is you take one day at a time and pray. I pray to God every day to get me through just one day of being clean.
So what is the hardest struggle for you? What is the hardest part of being an addict?
Living 2 lives. I'm living now. I'm trying to be a mother, a grandmother, a sister, a daughter, and then the addict, I call her Lisa. That's my addict name. So living 2 different lives, that was a struggle.
So as Mr. Ken, the guest we had earlier talked about it was a mental and a physical thing for him, the cravings. Do you want to touch on that? Can you relate to that?
I don't have cravings. I don't know what triggers me. Excuse me. I would say alcohol sometimes would trigger me. But then sometimes personal issues would trigger me just to take me in a different world. But I noticed during my addiction, I thought I was hiding from everybody, nobody could see me. So I would always use after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when I knew my daughters wasn't calling me, my grandkids weren't running through the house, my dad, my mother, nobody was walking through. So I always thought I was getting away with it.
And when did you realize that it's full blown?
When I couldn't stop. And I kept using because I didn't want to fail. And once I fell, I'd be like, oh, I messed up again. God, forgive me. Forgive me.
So you were trying to numb the pain?
You numb my pain.
And numb the pain of what your kids felt?
Yes. I was embarrassed. I'm ashamed. I never thought I would ever use drugs, to be honest.
So if you were to go back in time, what would the younger version of Missy need to hear?
I probably would have cried out to my mother when I needed help. Prayed to God. I would have got help earlier instead of turning to drugs to numb my pain.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I did.
So speaking on help, because I'm a big advocate for therapy. You guys were all like, don't go. Who goes to therapy? And Black people do go to therapy. Yeah. Do you think not just therapy and counseling and praying to God, but also things such as NA, 12-step programs? Do you think those work?
I think everybody's story is different. I went to 2 rehabs. One I did 2 days, 3 days, whatever. Then I did the 30 days Spirit Life in Indiana, Pennsylvania, where my cousin Claudia took me. I believe the NA would work if you put yourself into it and go with the program. But I still believe the man above the one's going to heal me.
All right. So it was nice and comforting to see Frankie Sr., Frankie Jr. sit down and talk. And he mentioned something about, sincerity, praying to God and asking. So, and just being transparent. When you say you want to quit and you relapse, do you feel like you are sincere when you ask for God to release you from this?
I don't think I was ready, but my story is I just turned 60 in June. And before I turned 60, I was still relapsing here. I go 3 months clean, relapse again. But for some reason, it seemed like God talked to me, and I told God, if I make it to 60, I don't want to pick up any kind of drugs again.
And now you say you feel sincere. Now you're still.
I feel lighter. I feel sincere. I didn't even want to come on this program, of course.
I know.
But I figure if I can help somebody else, if I got 26 days clean, somebody can have 1 day clean.
So it's just taking 1 day at a time.
That's what you do.
So is there? Because I'm hard on you. I'm probably
Yes.
the one child and that's because God speaks to me, and I know when something's off with you. I know when something's wrong, but I have learned to try to look at you outside of the addict, and more so as my mother. And I'm trying to get emotional because I'm a very emotional person. But so it took time. So I want to personally apologize because it took years to get to this place now where I can separate my mother for being my mother as an addict.
That'll make me cry.
and that helped me with the embarrassment and shame, because we all have a story, and we're all sinners. So it's your sin is no bigger or than mine. Yeah. So I am proud of you, and I do recognize you are trying every single day.
Yes.
And it's tough, being a child and watching, because I see your heart, and that's what Frank's dad talked about. It's God sees your heart, and I see your heart, and I want you to see what everybody else sees, and see that you are worth it, and you deserve to live a drug-free life.
I appreciate it.
Is there anything that you'd want your kids to know about what you go through, or your struggle, the addiction that you haven't said to us before?
Of course, I always tell you I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it again. But when I was on those drugs, I wasn't your mother. But I love you, so I would not trade you in the world for anything. And please forgive me. I'm taking 1 day at a time. And I got 24 days in today.
Yeah.
And I thank God for that. I thank God for my children.
I thank God for you.
And my pearl.
Because I am that one. But no, in all honesty, I guess before we get up out of here, is there any gems or jewels? Because, we spoke to, somebody who's, I can't remember, Mr. Ken, how many years he's been clean. Frankie's father's 26 years clean. You're 24 days clean. So somebody may be watching. We're just trying to help just one person, one family, one mother, one daughter that's going through right now that you would want to share some kind of encouraging words, something you can drop with them that they may hear.
I just say, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up, because you can't be that one. My mother passed away. She never gave up on me. Never. And I thank God my children haven't either. Take one day at a time.
What's the one thing you wish for?
I'm going to sit here next year and give y'all my clean date for 1 year.
I'm going to hold you to that. I love you, Mommy. Well, again, I appreciate you for sitting down. I know it's been tough. We've been on this journey for years. And as you said, take one day at a time. And with the grace of God and our faith, Grandma will see you clean.
Yeah, I'll give you a hug. I love you.
I love you, Mommy.
I'm going to slap y'all. Thank you, Pearl.
You did good, Mommy.
Hey, somebody get help. Somebody else. Y'all help me out. Thank you.
That was amazing. That was awesome. Yeah. The strength it took you to do that.
I know.
I don't have it in me. I want to be clean.